blind date was empty, until a little girl walked in and said, "My mommy's sorry she's late." I sat alone at the corner table of Romano's, watching couples laugh over candlelight while my coffee grew cold. 30 minutes had passed since our agreed meeting time, and with each tick of the clock the weight of disappointment pressed harder against my chest. I'd been stood up before, but this time felt different. This time I'd actually allowed myself to hope. My phone sat face up on the table, silent and mocking, offering no explanation, no apology, no last-minute excuse. I was just about to signal for the check, ready to add this evening to my growing collection of failed attempts at connection, when I heard the small voice that would change everything. "Excuse me, mister. Are you Nathan?" I looked down to find a little girl no more than 6 years old standing beside my table. She had wild brown curls barely contained by a lopsided ponytail, grass stains on her jeans, and the most serious expression I'd ever seen on a child's face. Her small hand clutched a worn teddy bear missing one eye, and she was slightly out of breath as if she'd been running. "I am," I said, confused, glancing around for an adult who might claim her. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" She took a deep breath, gathering herself with the gravity of someone delivering important news. "My mommy's sorry she's late. She said to tell you that she's really sorry and she's coming right now. And please don't leave." The words tumbled out in a rush, and then she looked at me with eyes that held such earnest hope that I felt something crack open in my chest. If this story is touching your heart, please hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to Kindness Pulse for more inspiring stories that remind us of the beautiful, unexpected moments that change our lives. Your support means everything. Before I could respond, she pulled out the chair across from me and climbed up, settling in as if we'd known each other for years. "I'm Emma," she announced, placing her teddy bear carefully on the table. "This is Mr. Buttons. He only has one eye because my mommy was really sick last year, and I used to squeeze him real hard when I was scared at the hospital. The eye came off, but mommy says he's even more special now because he's been through stuff with us." My heart stuttered. Hospital. Sick. Suddenly, the lateness took on a different dimension, and shame washed over me for my impatience. "I'm sorry to hear your mom was sick," I said gently. "Is she okay now?" Emma nodded, but her expression remained solemn beyond her years. "She had cancer, but she beat it. She's been cancer-free for 4 months now. That's why she wanted to go on this date. She said it was time to start living again, not just surviving." She paused, picking at a loose thread on Mr. Buttons. "But then today she had a bad day. Sometimes she still has those. Her body gets really tired and she gets scared about things, and today she almost didn't come because she was worried you wouldn't like her anymore because she's not, I don't remember the word, not per something. Perfect?" I offered quietly. "Yeah, that one." Emma looked up at me and I saw tears gathering in her eyes. "But she is perfect. She's the most perfect mommy in the whole world. She just has some scars now, and her hair is still growing back, and sometimes she needs to rest more than other people. But she's so brave, and she makes the best pancakes, and she always knows when I need a hug before I even know it myself." I felt my throat tighten. "She sounds wonderful, Emma, and you know what? Anyone who raised a daughter as brave as you, brave enough to come find a stranger in a restaurant to make sure he doesn't leave, that person must be pretty incredible." Emma's face brightened, but then uncertainty crept back in. "So you'll wait? Even though she's late? Even though she might not look like her pictures because those were from before?" I reached across the table and gently placed my hand near hers, not quite touching, just close enough to offer comfort. "I'll wait as long as it takes. And Emma, I need you to know something important. Your mommy doesn't need to apologize for being late or for being a survivor, or for any of the scars she carries. Those scars? They're proof of her strength. They're proof she fought for something precious. She fought to stay here with you." Tears spilled down Emma's cheeks, but she was smiling. "That's what I always tell her, but she doesn't always believe me." "Maybe she needs to hear it from someone new," I said. We sat together in comfortable silence for a moment, and then Emma began telling me about her mom, about how she was an art teacher, how she could draw anything, how she still had bad nightmares sometimes but was working with someone to help with that, how she laughed at terrible jokes, how she was learning to be kind to herself again. With each detail, I felt myself not just waiting for a stranger, but genuinely looking forward to meeting someone real, someone who'd been through darkness and was choosing to step back into the light. 20 minutes later, A woman appeared in the restaurant doorway. She was scanning the room frantically until her eyes landed on our table, and I saw her whole body sag with relief and then tense with embarrassment. She was beautiful, not in the conventional way that dating app photos try to capture, but in the way that real life etches beauty into a person through survival and love and courage. Her hair was short, growing back in soft waves. She wore a bright scarf and moved with a slight hesitancy, as if still relearning how to take up space in the world. She approached our table, and Emma jumped down to hug her. "Mommy, this is Nathan, and he waited, and he's really nice, and I told him about Mr. Buttons." The woman, Sarah according to her profile, looked at me with eyes full of apology and vulnerability and something like hope. "I am so sorry," she began. "I had a panic attack, and my therapist had to talk me down. And then Emma ran ahead because she was worried you'd leave. And I stood up and smiled at her, a genuine smile that came from somewhere deep and true. "Sarah, I'm glad you came, and I'm glad Emma came to find me. Why don't you sit down and we can start this evening properly? No apologies needed, just two people getting to know each other, and one very impressive young lady who I think deserves some dessert for her bravery." Before we wrap up this beautiful story, if you've been moved by Sarah and Emma's courage, please take a moment to like this video, share your own stories of unexpected moments in the comments, and subscribe to Kindness Pulse. Let's build a community that celebrates real, raw, beautiful human connections. As Sarah sat down, her shoulders relaxing slightly, Emma beamed at both of us. The evening that followed wasn't perfect. Sarah's hand shook slightly when she held her menu, and she was honest about her fears and her journey. But it was real. It was raw. It was the beginning of something neither of us expected, but both of us needed. Because sometimes the best connections come not when everything is polished and perfect, but when we show up as we truly are. Scars, fears, brave little daughters and all. Sometimes love doesn't look like the fairy tale we imagined. Sometimes it looks like a child with a one-eyed teddy bear, a woman who fought death and won, and a man who learned that waiting for something real is always worth it. That night, I learned that being late doesn't mean you've missed your chance at happiness. Sometimes being late just means you're still fighting your way there, and the people worth knowing will understand that the journey matters just as much as the arrival.